All right, good morning, everybody. I'm sorry, I lost track of time here. Just looking at some things for the day. Anyway, markets are up here a little bit, and so markets being up doesn't really mean anything other than okay, they're up a certain number on the day, and so S&P's here cleared this high, opens up the door to moving above here. Now, next pivot is right there. Theoretically, it should get through it since it's been bouncing around here. And you can see kind of like a head and shoulders bottom. Right? Let's get the little drawing thing out here. A little breakout right there. And I'm going to get up here. Right? More significant pivot highs. 4150 puts it around the 20 MA. Makes sense. I don't think it's going to get there today. It would be a pretty big bar. It's in a downtrend. Could it? Yeah, of course. But to get a bar that big today in this schizo market, I doubt it. Let's see what happens here. I mean, just looking at the chart, there is that possibility here. And yeah, so I've got 4150 as well. And what did I stop writing here? 39. Well, 75 is more attractive, but I would go a little lower. I'm skeptical of this market and wouldn't be surprised to see it drop. But first of all, let's go and look as we always do at SPY. And so why is it even up like this? Well, in part, I hear it on the news, Buffett buying Citibank. Financials look like crap. Yeah, on a pullback, sure. Yeah, right. Let it come fill on a way down. It'll juice it up. All right, so got up to 408. You can see my cursor is right in that red area there. Just so right over this little congestion, which is good. You know, this is getting over there. So pullbacks. So if you're looking at spiders, it's at 406, 407. Pullbacks here to 404, give or take, should be viable, right? That this is moving up toward its area where sellers are going to show up and knock it back down again. It's in a downtrend. There's congestion here. It's kind of, you see these overlapping bars over there. Of course you do. But it's really not as significant as you would think. Sorry, our idea of trading above and below an area, neutralizing it. So now as I can shift this up here, and while this is lined up with that, in reality, I don't really care about this at all. And this is where things like VWAPs and points of control can be misleading. I mean, wherever there's a majority of trading going back and forth, overlapping bars, of course, there has to be more activity there. And you don't need such indicators or tools to tell you where that is. I would say you just look to the left and you see this congestion there. So that would likely be the upside point where it's going to stall the greatest, that whether it can go through, whether it'll pull back, and look, turning points on a daily chart within a downtrend, they're difficult days because as it's moving up there, of course, buyers take control within the context of the downtrend. And to make a turn day tends to be really choppy. And what we really want to see is, 2 or 3 days up here making the turn if it can get up there. Right. So we'll see. Right now we see it's at 406. So it's a good start clearing these pivots, but still within this downtrend. If it gaps and goes, I'm not going to chase it. If it pulls back into the support, I consider giving it a shot. Okay. Let me just look at spiders, SPs again. Okay. SPX. All right. So we'll be around here, right, based on where the SPY is. And so we'll move this up here, right up into this area. And it's pretty much an area because when you got overlapping bars, and that would be the upside target. So SPX 4150, can it get there? That's a pretty big distance from where it was. And so let's just go from the close up to 4150. That would be about a 3.5% move on the day. Would be quite impressive to have a bar of that size, to come up into there. It's in a downtrend. The 20's there. What would motivate that? Not Citibank. I don't think so. I mean, that's in a downtrend. It's rolled over. It's just, and we know he's a value investor, whatever value he sees in this. It's downtrend. It's coming to support. And, just looking at other sectors, it's rolled over. XLF, just looks terrible. So we don't have a pattern yet to suggest some kind of, Joe saying he's shorting and value and shorting C, but probably not today. But, when you see a rounding top that's formed over this many months and breaking down, I mean, it needs to double bottom, downside shakeout, some kind of pattern that we call creating a new support area where there is none. And that's not happening yet. All right. So then we go and look at the NASDAQ. What is it doing? Well, it's not clearing resistance. So we've got some strength, some focused strength that's affecting the S&Ps that have cleared resistance, where we've still got this bottoming pattern and this initial move up. Maybe it moved up with the S&Ps up into resistance where it stalled. So if it can chop around here, maybe it gets through it, but that's yet to be seen. It's got a consolidation. It's in a downtrend. It's just how far can it get or not before sellers take control again. And so it had yesterday was this consolidation day. If it's going to do something, I think it needs to do it today now that the S&Ps have moved up. Dow up a little bit here, 400 points. Then you look at the chart and say, all right, it's clearing this. It's got room to go up. All right, let's go for it. Let's go with it, and see how far it gets, since we've got at least a day trading pattern to trade against the daily trend, and it's got a void. So in a situation like this, pullbacks make a whole lot more sense than buying breakouts, right? Because you've got a lot of people that would love to lower, their losses, right? Get their losses pared back and sell into some of this or get short. But people want to get short up around here because that's where resistance is. Maybe it can get further up. Let's see what it does. Bitcoin, big deal inside day, just because it's up, almost 1,000 points, big deal. Crude oil down a little bit. It's up at pivot high, big deal. Silver, a little turn here. And so we need to see this, just like anything we were just looking at. The financials, they broke down. There's nothing to the left. It needs to create support if we're going to get thinking longs. So we'll retest pattern. We'll see. I mentioned, the dollar's pulling back a little bit. Sure, it's a little extended. It's in an uptrend. It can get more extended. And, I'm surprised the media is not talking about this. 3-month interest rates. This is today. Nobody's talking about this. Fed's going to raise 3/4. I don't see how they're getting around it. The market's doing it. They're saying, hey, sleepy man over there, take your nap with Sleepy Joe, but we're taking care of business. And this continues to push up. And as this is pushing up, now, well, this is still consolidating. We'll see if it pushes up, but you've got the 3-month pushing up, the 5 years losing momentum, the 10 years losing momentum. It's still uptrend. And the 30-year, it's still uptrend, but pulled back a little bit. So if these start to pull back and this stays up, the yield curve begins to narrow again. And that could make markets nervous. Nobody's paying attention yet, but, I take a look at this stuff just to keep an eye and wonder why is being ignored? Why financials be up along with interest rates? Financials tend to go up when the yield curve expands, Steve. So the difference between what they can borrow at and then what they can lend at is free money, right? They, leverage that 30 times over, whatever they want, and they make money. And so we've got, this moving up rapidly. Right? It hasn't stopped. Look at the way it's going up. So, it's not a good environment for banks. Yield curve inverting, which it's kind of gotten back above that a little bit, as you can see here, but still not a good scenario. But this is the shortest versus the longest. And so this isn't all that bearish, but you've got the beginnings of this bearish scenario when we hear talk about recession or stagflation, and that leads to who's going to borrow the money, even if they can lend the money. All right. A little bounce in the euro as the dollar pulls back. We talked about where it's here at support. And of course, we always want to take a look at the transports. So far, they're holding this level, set an alert below it, tickled below. And so today will be a wait and see day. Is it, just a matter of some news of Buffett buying a financial and the S&P is going up and that'll peter out and back down we come? Or let's see if they can keep it going for a while. To use Dan.
I don't think it's that Buffett news at all myself. There was a lot of announcements of people, hedge funds doing this and that. Might boost Citigroup and Paramount. And I as soon as I woke up, I turned on the TV, I looked at the gap, and then I was waiting, as I always do, for the longest time for them to say the markets are up on XYZ. And I heard nothing all day. They didn't know what to say. The only thing I could find is, Shanghai, I think, had 3 days of good Corona news. So maybe they're happy that maybe the lockdowns are going to start getting better. Not the lockdowns there will translate into supply chain problems, but who the heck knows? But we're very heavily bullish here. So we were putting on a lot of trades yesterday for the anticipated continued bounce based on the close yesterday. I said 30, today we go, I'm bullish over the high, bearish under the low. It was that simple. So I've adjusted. So folks in the green room who don't get Telegram, I've adjusted a ton of things, particularly in the put spreads. I tightened stops on every single one. We in the advisor, in the weekly options trader, we have 11 positions, 10 of them are bullish. And this is the only bear calls we have on calm. And look at that thing tank yesterday. And same with the advisory letter. We got 16 open positions, and this is the only short. So our portfolio is doing absolutely fantastic right now. So I won't comment on those. Let's go right to whatever I have in my interest list here. Twitter, continuing. Musk is playing his game, whatever. And even Kramer came out and was trashing Musk this morning, saying, it's a shame what he's doing to that board, jerking them around, whatever. And that's kind of what I've been saying too. I wouldn't want to do business with him myself. Smart man, but he's caused a lot of damage to traders with his tweets, that's for sure. All right, Para earnings, I think, gap up, but to resistance. So yeah, I'm in a wait and see game here too to see 30 minutes. What are we gonna do? We're gonna hold. SE 7875. All right, so this one, nice gap, and we're gonna see these patterns everywhere today. We're going to see, I said, a continued bounce and a downtrend. And that's all these still are for now. They're going to be these little continuations. Home Depot, we sold the way out of the money, I think 250 puts yesterday into earnings based on the weekly. Look at that. Look at that. We sold the 250s down here. And so that worked out great. That's up huge. So I'm actually bidding a penny for mine just to close them. And you obviously look at the Cousins, LOW, up a little bit, but that trade's ugly. And then Walmart, bottom right, a big old gap down. Support over here at 135. So that's actually, it's not a Climo gap. It's not an exhaustion. It's a bearish gap, but it fits into the category of the gap so big. Let's see where the buyers step up. So I'm watching that for a put spread idea. KHC. That's fine. It's in a trading range of 1, 2, 3. That's fine, Thomas. So talking about hedge funds moving around things, this Loeb, I think his name is, he said he was dumping DKS, no pattern, dumping GPS. Very sloppy bottoming pattern. Citigroup, gapping up 49.74. There's no pattern there. And then Para was another one. This always cracks me up, when the stupid public just buys what Warren Buffett has done in the past. It's like, you all are idiots. So there's no trades. UAL came out and said they're raising guidance. So that, greater than 100% retracement, gapping up here. So I have that in the middle window here. That's a 30-minute high. Day trade and put spread I do. Hey John, 1893 gapping up. 30-minute high, day trade. Arrow, we just talked about. TME. I don't like the way it trades. Penny stock, T2. Oh wow, it's up 10 now. It was up 5 earlier, and that was going to be a put spread idea for me. Let's see, now it's gapping here to 120. That's kind of my target on a bunch of these bounces, the 20, but so that's too big. Teva, Greg, look at this weekly on Teva. Wow, that's a strange looking pattern. Look at this, it blasted through 3-4 pivots than 100% retracement. Let's keep an eye on this. Visa, I had in the weekend letter, which I then had canceled yesterday, but I put it back on today as a put spread, 30-minute high. Same with PayPal, 30-minute high. GDYN, we have, my alarm just went off. We're short $15 puts on this. I see it gapping up to 17. I'll set new alarms here. 1750. 1750 and 16. DNA earnings, another bio, no pattern. Hey, FedEx, we have a put spread. Hey, nice gap breakout. Ticks over 1,500. FedEx, we've been playing around with this for a while. With put spreads, now that's a beautiful 30-minute high. Well, that looks great. Look at UAL over there. Our AMD, I have tightened the stop. That's doing well. IYT transport, so my alarm went off, which means we're stopping out in our, oh, I got filled at a penny on Home Depot there. IYT, so our transport's stopping out at a profit in the ETF letter. UAL put spread idea, 43.50 and lower. We're all right now. That's 931, but we got red bars now with a big price void. Oh, we also did spider puts, the short. Wow, the 395. Well, it's $10 away for tomorrow, or still 56 cents. Wow. Surprised they're that big. I'm actually going to cover one. See, it's fine, Thomas. I'm not entering. I'm not entering anything long myself till I have a better picture on